Okay, so we've got a little example of a project for Module 3 of Computing in the Arts. Here's our code in processing, and we also have some code in our microbit editor here. So let's start by just taking a quick look at what this does. I'll click Run, and we have a little game, and I'll show you my controller, and I can tilt my controller to the left and to the right, and I can click the buttons to open and close these flaps, and when the flaps are open, I'm allowed to collect points, but I can't move when the flaps are open. So I close the flaps, and then I can move, and I can try and score some more points by opening the flaps again. And if the flaps aren't open, I don't score any points. That's our basic little game. So let's take a quick look at how this works. So if we look at our microbit code first, we take the current gesture of the accelerometer and we send that over a serial message. And then if the button is pressed, we're going to send a pressed message. And if it's not pressed, we're going to send not pressed. And we concatenate all these messages together with commas. And we wait for a little bit and show some flashing images on the microbit, just so we know that the microbit is working when we think it's running. Then on this side, we're going to be receiving that microbit input into a dictionary of acceleration button A and button B. And so we're going to be later checking, is it pressed? And is the acceleration pointing to the left or the right? And we have our original connection here to check whether or not our code is connected. Our serial port is connected. And then our basic loop is going to update the collector. That's the box at the bottom. It's going to move the drops down. We're going to render the drops, and then we're going to update the score. So in order to update the collector, we first collect our input from the serial port. And to do that, we'll first read the string and strip the white space, and then we're going to parse the input. And we have a special parse input function at the bottom here. And this parse input is going to split on the comma. That's the comma that we had used right here. We're going to split on the comma and then take all the different positions to be the different values and put those into our input dictionary. And we're only going to do that if the input array has all of the elements we expected it to, because sometimes the serial messages can get lost in transit. We will only want to try and read that if we actually have all the values we expect to have. Otherwise, we're just going to return some extra messages that don't mean anything. Basically, we're going to save the acceleration input from the previous time, and we're just going to say there's no input for buttons A and B. And then once we've collected that microbit input, we will move the collector using the microbit input if the flaps are not open. If the flaps are open, we are not allowed to move. Then we'll draw the box at the bottom of the screen. And if the button A is pressed, we're going to open the flaps. And if button B is pressed, we're going to close the flaps. And then if the flaps are open, we draw the flaps. And then we have move drops, which basically moves the position of those drops down. And then rendering the drops is just drawing some spheres. So all this code is posted if you'd like to take a closer look.